if a coach was asking me to do something and they went to go demonstrate it and they couldn't do it, right? I didn't really feel like, oh, well, if he can't do it, why do I need to do it? Exactly.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Podfutbol. I'm Bryan.
I'm Jimmy.
Today we're talking about preparing for the game. Not necessarily for soccer games, but for training.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy, I'm going to ask you this question. How do you prepare for training?
Yeah, so as a coach, I have a plan, right? It could be a 4 to 6 week block that I'm setting up for us to train and work on specific techniques, right? But even smaller, like before every session, I have a lesson plan, right? Session planner, right? Some coaches use those. A notebook, right? Write down the information, write down the session, and that's what we're going to be aiming for. Now, the ideal situation will be able to cover everything. That now always doesn't happen, right? But I have a plan. There is a plan in place. I'm not going out there and just winging my sessions, right? And I have to be consistent, right? Because, kids have to have repetitions. Players have to have repetitions, right? The more repetitions they get, the better they're going to be at that specific skill.
So you said you use a notebook and a session planner. Do you use any other particular equipment or technology?
Yeah, I've started to incorporate using a video camera as well as my cell phone. I use my cell phone.
Comes in handy.
Right? We all have one, or most people do. And I use it for my coaching. You use the little voice memo app, on the iPhone, the Android. Yeah, the Android.
To record.
The Android phone does it. Google phones, whatever you guys got, right? And I put that in my upper pocket. Most jackets nowadays, you have a zipper pocket right here. I put on the record app, and then I can listen to myself during my session, right? Am I being overly repetitive? Am I talking just for the sake of talking, right? And I think sometimes as coaches, we communicate. Because of that, I communicate too much, right? And I'll recognize that. And
you become background noise.
Yeah, exactly, right? If they're going to be playing, they're just used to oh, coach is just talking again, right? Yeah. But when you actually need to step in and you really need to talk about something specific, or really, important, are they going to be willing to open up their ears because you've been constantly talking? Exactly. Or when you give out your little tidbits, they're there to go, oh, coach is talking, I need to listen. You know what I mean? And so that's what I use my phone little voice memo app for. Then I've also been starting recently to use my video camera, not just to record games footage, right? But now I'm starting to do it where I record training sessions, right? And that could be a great thing from a coach, as a learning tool for themselves, but also maybe hold accountability for players, right? And their actions, right? Are they coming to that session prepared? Are they, putting in that max effort towards that session? And as you go through the video footage, maybe you see some tendencies where, certain kids or certain players, aren't very concentrated, right? And now you have some actual documentation to say well, they're not getting better at this. Well, because they're not paying attention during this session or during this drill, or they're being distracted by something else. Maybe that means I need to keep two different players away from each other at the session so that we can get the most out of it. True.
And kids are already on their phones. So
massively.
If we can include and incorporate technology every single day to help them become better soccer players, why not? Now, for me, I do a lot of small group training sessions.
Yes.
A lot of the times I do one-on-one sessions. And what I like to do is I like to use my phone and the slow-mo app.
Oh, yeah, the slow-mo is perfect.
And the slow-mo on the camera so that players can see themselves strike a ball, pass a ball, their technique that they're using. Because sometimes players, they don't believe you until they see themselves.
It's so hard to accept that, right? As a player, sometimes you've been told this thing over and over again, and people are stubborn at times.
And it's instant. They see it right away. You take a quick video, you play it, you have them come and check out the video, and they see themselves. And now it's just an extra tool because a lot of players, including myself, I'm a visual learner. I have to see it, and if I see it, I can get it. It clicks faster.
Oh, yeah.
For me.
No, definitely.
You know, and that's just it's a fantastic tool to use. And like I said, since I'm working with smaller groups, it comes in clutch.
No, definitely. I mean, I totally understand where you're coming from, because it's the best thing. It's the best thing. I mean, when the kids can actually see themselves actually doing it,
Yeah.
right? I think that means more. I mean, as coaches, you know, the professional level, right? We can send kids Messi videos, Ronaldo videos, right? And obviously those guys are at the highest level, right? And, you know, those are obviously ideal situation, ideal scenario. But, you know, kids, I think they're more open to it when they actually see themselves, or even maybe their fellow peers, right? Fellow teammates or somebody at their same age, right? And so if they're seeing, you know, somebody at their own age doing it, right, then they know it's possible.
And obviously we like to set the example. So if one of my players is doing a certain technique and I've recorded him and I've shown him or her and they still are struggling with it, I have them record me, you know, just so they see me doing it and trying it. And they immediately know that someone can actually go about that exercise that we're working on. And two, right, now we get to compare videos.
That's perfect. I mean, you're setting the example, you or yourself, right? And you're showing them that it's possible. But I also think it may be even more important that you as the coach instructing them, right? They now know that you don't just talk the talk, but you walk the walk.
Exactly.
Right? You know, I remember myself being a youth player, and if a coach was asking me to do something and they went to go demonstrate it and they couldn't do it, right? I didn't really feel like, oh, well, if he can't do it, why do I need to do it? Exactly. Right? But if he goes out and performs it and he's able to complete it, or she was able to complete it, and they do it, I then go, okay, well, if they're telling me and preaching this or in coaching this to me, right, and they can perform the action, then it can be done.
Of course.
And, you know, and I have to do it. So, I mean, that's even better that you are doing the demonstration, you know, for a player's aspect, at least in my opinion. You know, if the coach is demonstrating it correctly and appropriately, then they have to as well.
Now, for me, I got to be prepared to do that. So how do I prepare for those instances at training? One, we got to stay fit as coaches.
Absolutely.
Or else we won't be able to do that. We got to make sure that we work out, we hit the gym, we get a couple runs in, we're still active, we participate with the kids. Because what better way to learn and what better way to challenge the kids than by them seeing you do it? Like that's huge.
Well, absolutely. I mean, like you said, not even just staying in shape, going to the gym, working out, but we also as coaches have to work on our own technique, right? We still have to go out there and practice, right? So that we can demonstrate these skill sets, right? I mean, most coaches, I think, still try to go and play. You know, they play like on an indoor team or a futsal or a co-ed or, you know, still out 11v11, you know, to still be able to get those touches on there, right? But as coaches, if you don't have access to those types of things, you know, you got to actually go out and spend some time yourself, right? Because like Bryan said, he's going out there and he's demonstrating an exercise and the drill, but is he going to be able to just pull that out of his back pocket right away? I mean, that's a hard thing. I mean, there's a reason why the pros and even the youth players that we're coaching, they can train on a consistent basis, right? So that their final product for the game, right, is clean. It's good. Their first touch is good with the outside, the inside, their sole, the laces, right? Even their technique of hitting a ball, right? And that's why we work on these repetitions, right? If you don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly. So true. How do you guys prepare for your training sessions? Let us know in the comments. We'd love for you guys to share your thoughts. We'll keep this conversation going. Subscribe, like, comment, and all that fun stuff. And we'll keep in touch. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Later, guys.